Can everybody hear me? Let me just check the sound. Alright, seems like we're good. Yo. Alright. The career of John Stockton. I put out this video. I don't know if the thumbnail is not good enough. Not too sure what didn't exactly go right on this one, but I feel like the video is pretty good. Definitely check it out. John Stockton, definitely considered one of the best point guards of all time. Definitely one of the 10 best. Never won a title, but I think him and his teammate Malone are the two best players. Probably that never won a title. Was in the league for 19 seasons and made the playoffs in all 19. That's incredible. Man, it's crazy because he lost in the finals to Jordan and the Bulls. They were in the mix. I mean, he's from Spokane. Went to Gonzaga Prep. Is that school still in existence? Yes. It is still in existence. It is still in existence. He was the 16th pick in that iconic 1984 draft, considered by many one of the greatest drafts of all time. I think it was top heavy, but there's definitely some big time names. But we'll get into that in a second. 10-time All-Star Game MVP in 1993. I think he was co-MVP with Karl Malone, if I'm correct. Yeah, Karl Malone and John Stockton were co-MVPs. All-NBA first team twice. All-NBA second team 6 times, third team 3 times, All-Defensive, All-NBA third team 3 times, yeah. All-Defensive second team 5 times. Never made first team. It's interesting. I wonder who was making it, like Terry Porter maybe? He led the league in assists 9 times. Led the league in steals twice. Which shows like a lot of this is longevity. Right? When your longevity is good, you can last. You set these records, you break these records, like John Stockton has. Anybody, let me know if you think the thumbnail is the reason why this video hasn't gotten more views. I'm wondering why. Made the 50th greatest team, the 75th team. 10 assists per game for career, 2 steals per game for career, 3,000 steals. So that's a lot. He was born and raised in Spokane, right? Which is why he went to Gonzaga Prep and went to Gonzaga University. College career, considered offers from Idaho, Montana, both in the Big Sky. Yeah, so he was looking at schools on the West Coast that were relatively close. He played for Dan Fitzgerald at Gonzaga. I'm not familiar with any of these coaches. Mike Montgomery? Oh, yeah, he was a coach at Stanford, I think. Yeah, Stanford, 2000. Yeah, I remember Mike Montgomery. Jared Jeffries and them boys played for him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep, a Final Four appearance in 1998. Yep. I remember that. I remember him. I don't know if I remember that Final Four. But yeah, Mike Montgomery. Cool, cool, cool. Um, third generation of the family. Grandfather, Houston Stockton, was a football player. I guess that's why his middle name is Houston. During his senior year, okay, he averaged 20 points a game, 57% from the field. They had a 17-11 record. Led the conference in scoring, assists, and steals, and was named the WCAC Player of the Year. Was the first Gonzaga player to do so. Now Gonzaga is pretty much like the greatest mid-major school of all time. You could put Memphis in that conversation. Oh, I would love for Gonzaga to win a title, a national title, just to show like the little engine that could, you know. Everybody, check out the video on John Stockton too, though, if you haven't seen it. It's the first video on the channel. 74 players invited for the 1984 Olympic team by Bob Knight. Yeah, he wasn't on that team, but he was one of 4 released with Barkley. Barkley, I heard, was like the best player. Terry Porter, who was a great player in that era, he's like what, 4-time All-Star, 3-time All-Star at least, 2-time All-Star. Maurice Martin, I do not know who that is. Played at St. John's. Played in the NBA for a few seasons. All right, selected in the 1984 draft. I did a video on the 1984 draft if anybody wants to check that out. Off the top of the dome, like it's Hakeem 1, Sam Bowie 2, Jordan 3. Is it Perkins 4? Sam Perkins 4, Barkley 5. Alvin Robertson. I don't know if he was an All-Star in the NBA though. Oh, 4-time All-Star. Okay, Alvin Riley, yeah. All NBA second team. Shoot. I gotta look into him more. Otis Thorpe. I feel like he was a pretty good player. Yeah, this draft is better than I expected. Kevin Willis, I believe he was an All-Star too. Okay. Yo, this draft was pretty fire. Michael Cage, Terrence Stansbury, the what was the Statue of Liberty dunk? He was a good athlete. Interestingly enough, his son, I played ball with his son, Sully Stansbury. He went to my high school. He's younger than me though, much younger than me. Michael Young played at Houston, yeah, with that whole team. Okay, Steve Burt. Yeah, draft was pretty fire. He was relatively unknown, yeah, so people kind of were not sure about him when he was drafted. Starting point guard in 1987, 1988 season. All NBA second team, averaged 14.7 points, 13 assists, led the league, and 3 steals a game. Dang it, man. He did not even make the All-Star. Wow, that's crazy. He also led the league in steals per game, while once again leading the NBA in assists per game. 9 consecutive seasons. That's insane. I don't know if that'll ever be beat. I think Jordan led the league in scoring nine seasons in a row, 10 seasons in a row, which is crazy too. 20 points and 28 assists. Reached the Western Conference Finals against the Portland Trailblazers. Portland Trailblazers got to the finals that year. They lost to the Bulls, if y'all remember that. That was the year where, you know, Jordan hit all those threes in the first half, and he did like the famous shrug. That was that NBA Finals. He became the all-time leading assist leader in 1995, 9,000. I'm sure he respected Johnson a lot. They reached the conference finals again in 94 and 96, but lost to Houston and the Supersonics. Yeah, Houston won the title that year. They beat the Knicks in 94, and in 96, Seattle lost to the Bulls. That was the year where Gary Payton and won Defensive Player of the Year. Jordan kind of went off, though. But you saw the steady, consistent climb, you know? Franchise record 64 wins in 96 97. Reached the Western Conference Finals. Stockton, 25 points, 13 assists, made the buzzer beating winner over Charles Barkley to send them to 2 consecutive NBA Finals. 17 points, 7 rebounds, 12 assists in the first finals win. But they lost against the Bulls in 6 games. Yeah, as y'all, some of y'all remember, Michael Jordan never went to a Game 7 in the NBA Finals. Stockton missed the first 18 games of 97-98 with a knee injury, but they still ended up making it to the finals, and they lost again in Game 6. Right, Stockton made that 3. Jordan came down, and that's when he came down and he stripped your man Malone. Came down, did that push off of Brian Russell, and then hit that jumper. Oh, man. Only missed 22 games in his whole career. He retired at 41. $15,000 assists. That's crazy. One of 3 players to 14 and a half assists per game in 19. That's crazy. Dang. Over 1,000 assists in a season. Kevin Porter and Isaiah Thomas were the only other ones. Kevin Porter, I believe, isn't his son is his son Kevin Porter Jr. or I'm not thinking of a different Kevin Porter. Yeah, one thing I loved about Stockton was uh his shooting percentage. 51% shooting percentage. him and Jordan were like pretty much the only guards that were shooting like 50% from the field. I don't know if Jordan dropped because he came back and played with Washington, but when he was with the Bulls, he shot 50% from the field. And then one thing about Jordan, like he was just such a knockdown shooter from the mid range. Whether he was guarded, no matter what, he was just so. He had 19,000 points. Dang, whew, that's crazy. And he was also on the Dream Team. His other sons were pretty good players too. David Stockton. Uh, David Stockton. He played in the league for a little bit. Laura Stockton. Yeah, man. Great player, great all-time player, one of the greatest to ever do it. Um, Appreciate everybody who logged on. Feel free to go and check the video. Appreciate y'all. God bless.